Moses and Pharaoh. In the previous presentation, we talked about Egypt, which symbolized the material world, the mind, and the shape. We also talked about Israel, which symbolized life and the pure consciousness. Why is this comparison? It is because of those big pyramidal constructions in Egypt, the world of the material and the world of the shapes. Nowadays, if we were making that comparison, we would name the US for the material world, and unfortunately, we wouldn't have any country to replace Israel. So Pharaoh is the king of Egypt. He symbolizes the ego, the material world and the world of the shapes. On the other hand, Moses symbolizes the consciousness, like Noah, Jesus and any other son of the man. Pharaoh wants absolute power in Egypt and be assured that he won't have a competitor in the future. He asked for all the male newborn to be killed. The meaning is that the ego wants to have total power over the consciousness. Have you noticed that sometimes, you did something wrong, you feel guilty, you start to reflect upon it, and suddenly, you have another thought saying that no worries, it's all good, other people have done worse than that. Aren't you? The mind is trying to suffocate the consciousness once the consciousness starts acting. Moses' mom hides him in a basket, a sort of crib, to save him from this massacre. Remember, crib, boat, and ark mean the virgin mind. The contents means the pure consciousness. Moses is in the crib, Jesus is always in a boat, and Noah in the ark. All of them are the same symbol, pure consciousness and a virgin mind. We talked about all that in previous presentations. Etymologically, Moses means saved by the water. Moses in Hebrew is Moshe, an image of Achem. What is Achem? It means the name, the one who doesn't have a name. For the Jewish, God has no name. They represent him with 4 consonants YHWH, and God's name is unpronounceable. It is said that God has 7 sacred names. Moses in the palace doesn't want to eat. Only his mother can feed him. The consciousness or the intelligence doesn't want to eat any element different from its nature. Life is nourished by life. The consciousness is nourished by itself. Moses started to be a rebel to Pharaoh and his army. He even killed some of them, which means that the consciousness starts to distinguish some illusory thoughts. It distances itself from the actions of the mind. One day, Moses saw a blazing fire, but nothing around was burning. It wasn't a physical fire. In the Quran, they talk about a fire with no smoke. This fire represents the intelligence burning the mind's thoughts. So when you start to understand the truth, you discover the illusory state of the thoughts, you stop lying to yourself and others. God's voice was heard from the fire, and he asked Moses to take off his sandals, which means to stay away from shapes. Get away from the forms. The consciousness cannot communicate with forms, with words, and with signs. Later on, Jesus will ask his disciples to go on predications without a bag and a cane. The bag is a container and the cane is a form of support to walk. Moses did not want to go to Ramses, because he was stuttering, and God told him to take Aaron, his brother, with him as a spokesperson. Moses' consciousness has no word to express himself. Consciousness, life, and truth have no word as a form of expression. We talked about word in a previous recording when we said that the word is not the thing. If you'd like, you can go back to listen to it. Moses threw his cane in front of Ramses. It had transformed into a snake. The cane, as a form, is manifesting with consciousness. It is a live consciousness. The Pharaoh's wizards threw their canes too, and were being transformed into snakes as well, but Moses' snake swallowed the others. This is the image of the truth disillusioning the fake thoughts by making them disappear all at once. Pharaoh still doesn't want to free the slaves, meaning the mind doesn't want to free the consciousness. The ego doesn't want to be submissive to life. It refuses to accept that it is an illusion. It refuses to admit that it is nothing. It doesn't agree to that. The same way in Job's story, when you don't want to submit to life, you don't want to awake, life has its own way to make you abide. It will make you suffer. This is what we are calling the 10 plagues of Egypt. The mind doesn't want to free the consciousness. The latter will hit hard on the psyche to make you understand. The same way a stomach pain is a sign to make you understand something is wrong. In normal life, the 10 plagues of Egypt are you standing against your boss who used to abuse you, or your partner, spouse, or your hypocrite friends. One day you just stop all those abuses by saying the 4 truths. You stop living in pretext. At this point, life will be difficult for you. You may lose your job, your friends, you may become single, and this is where you start living spiritually. Don't forget, you have a physical body, you need some substance to survive. This is why the slaves stole some gold from the Egyptians' wealth. The consciousness is holding on a certain amount of material. You need a roof over your head. You are not letting go of everything you have. You may keep all your belongings, the fact is you will not look at them the same way as before. They are not so important to you. They will be just there for your usage. You just have a watch. It doesn't have to be gold. You are not interested in special brands and models, but you just have a vehicle at your service. You just need a good one. You start some research, reading, and philosophy to find the truth, for more knowledge. This presentation is not enough to translate the entire story. There will be another presentation to complete this story.